Good afternoon all, and welcome to today's Open Classroom Civil Designer Software webinar. I trust everyone is well. Under our new revised format, Thursdays are reserved for our pipe modules, with Chris Smith presenting functionality from the water module today. As always, please feel free to use the text chat service on your GoToWebinar floating dialog to ask us any questions you may have during Chris's presentation. So without further delay, Chris, please take it away.
Thanks, Charles, and welcome everybody. In this demo, we'll be looking at some of the features in the water module. Thank you for your valuable comments in the last few webinars. We are looking at incorporating that. You'll notice in this demo that a few of your comments have been included into this webinar that we'll be covering today. Today, I'm going to be looking at importing the water network from CAD. I'll also be looking at using a chlorine analysis or a chemical analysis on your water network. I'll also be looking at the color schemes in the water module and how they can best help you with your design and flag where their possible errors could be in your design. Let's go and have a look at the project. Starting with the basic fundamentals of water, I'd just like you to have a look at the files that I have in front of me here in my Windows Explorer. You'll see that I've got a CAD network, which is a AliCAD drawing, as well as a digital terrain model. Now to create these, you can watch other videos that we've created, but let's jump straight in. So I'm going to open up this water module here. Let's quickly go and open it. And before we even start, I just want to make sure that everything is attached. So I'll be sure to be in one of the design modes. I'll then go to File, Project Settings, and you'll see that a digital terrain model is not linked. So let's go ahead and link it up. Desktop. We can link that through. We currently don't have a water, but we'll just leave that out for now. So currently I'm only sitting with CAD entities. You'll notice if I try and select the boundaries, you'll notice they're unselectable. That is because if you right click over here, you'll see that I've made the cadastral boundaries non-selectable. That is to aid me in easily selecting the different CAD layers. I've created different CAD layers for different pipe sizes. Perhaps you're bringing it in from GIS and you'd like to keep the different diameters in different CAD layers. That will aid you in faster importing it into the water module. If we look at this pipe here, you'll see that it is a in the CAD layer 355. I've also got some other CAD layers, sitting at the 110s, and I have over here in the CAD layer 250. Now, I'd just like to cover some basic items when dealing with CAD entities to import into the water module. Over here, you'll see that I've got one CAD element called a lightweight polyline sitting in layer 355. You'll also notice that each bend point is a vertex on in the polyline. Civil Designer will not create nodes at each location, it will create bends at each location. But that is up to you. You can always explode that and have it as CAD lines. If we look at this example here, you can see that it is independent CAD lines. You see there's 3. And at each vertice, or where the 2 vertices meet, that a node will be drawn at that location. Great, let's go ahead and import these CAD elements and create a water network from them. I will go to water mode, and before I can import, I just need to go to the project settings and create the water file. You'll see I'm back in this location, and I'm going to call this water database. Now you can call this anything you'd like, preferably the town's name as well. Doesn't exist. Would I like to create it? I say yes, and I can say OK. Before we import the CAD into the project, we need to set up the default settings. Let's go and have a look at these default settings. If we go to settings, pipe defaults, you can then set up the different pipes that you would like to import. For our application in a moment, we will not be doing these two because we'll be importing the different CAD layers. But the important thing to look at this time is your cover level. So you need to set your cover level and your minimum roughness of your pipes. We can then close this, and now we can go to File, Import, Convert Drawing Entities. Now earlier in the pipe defaults, you noticed that it had diameters and pipe class. That is if you chose this pipe setting and you imported the pipes, but we won't be doing that today. We'll be doing it a little bit more advanced and choosing the multiple pipe layers. We're going to go to settings, and we're going to say, for importing the 90 diameter, I would like to use, and you see all the different catalogs here. Now you are welcome to choose any catalog you see fit. I'm just going to go ahead and choose different catalogs. It's really up to you which ones you want to use. Then for the class of pipe, that again is up to the pressures that the pipes need to take. And then your diameters. So remember to choose the diameters. That is just the name, and you can choose the closest to that. Okay, so from your catalogs, you're going to get the internal and outside diameters. Please, this is just showing you how to use the tools. You're welcome to select any catalogs that are more applicable to you. Now that we've done that, we'll say please hide all the CAD layers once we've finished, and we can press OK. So it's brought in 539 pipes, and nodes is going to be 300, basically 400 nodes, and we're then done with that. If you want to check if the pipes have come through, we're going to just jump ahead with our video because we're going to talk about color schemes in a moment, but let's go have a look at color schemes now so long. We'll go ahead to the pipes and let's choose diameters. You'll see there's your different diameter sizes, so we can go ahead and choose colors that maybe are more applicable to stand out a bit better. Let's have a look there. So here you can see it's brought in the different pipes, and I'm happy. This doesn't seem to be any issues. Let's go ahead and look at a completed model where I've added all the house connections and the fire hydrants already, so that we can look at the next topic in our item, which is your chlorine analysis. So I'll close this project. We can save it, that's fine. And I'll go to File, Open. Here we've got a completed project. If you'd like to learn more about creating fire hydrants or property connections, we will be covering these items later on in the next few weeks. Here you can see I've got the network. I've got all the house connections connected, and I've also got all the fire hydrants connected. Just for a quick test, I gave this node a preset pressure of 2 bar. That'll just help us get the network running. We can always change that to meet the demands should it be required. If we go to analysis, you'll see I'm going to use the time simulation. I'm going to use a water quality. I'm going to choose the analysis type to be chemical. I'm going to call it chlorine. There'll be a rate of decay, and I'll add a source at this location here. So we'll dose the network at this node. I'll choose a value of 0.06 and I'll say OK. I can then run the analysis and close. We can now have a look at the quality. If we go to nodes, I'm going to choose quality full. That'll give us the units as well. And we can zoom in and see what is happening with the chlorine dosing. Now remember that this is over a 24-hour period, so this value is for a time in the 24-hour period. So we need to go to water, and we need to go to results, and then we can expand the time simulation, and you'll see that the times change throughout the day. You can also, if you wish, to select the node itself and go to operations, and you can say display the node graph, and then you can go to your chlorine graph and you can see what is happening during the day. You can also vary your dosing into the network, and that is done during the analysis. If we look over here and your time simulation, your quantity, you can also create a demand pattern and choose your dosing rates that you wish to use. Great. Now that we've covered the chlorine analysis, let's have a look at the color schemes. Now the color schemes are also dependent on what time of day you're viewing for the pipes and the nodes, and then for the hydrants, which hydrant are you viewing the analysis results of. Let's go ahead and have a look at how this is done. I'll go across to my display settings and we can have a look at pipes first. Now under the pipes, you saw earlier today that you could choose diameters. Yeah, we've got a host of different diameters on this model. So over here, I can see that there's two greens, so I'm just going to change one or two more of the colors. We can let's go for slightly pinker color and maybe cyan. Great. So we can look at the different colors to display the different diameters for the pipes. We can also look at displaying the velocities in the pipes. In this case, let's rather use the color ramp. So I'll just change that to blue. So we can look at low velocities and then the higher velocities in blue. So we can get a look. But remember, this is linked to time of day. So we need to choose a time of day. And you can see during different times of the day, the network will change to different velocities in the pipes. The other options that we have is to show your different groups, flows, head losses, and gradients of pipe. That might be useful to know where the pipes are going to be laid quite steeply. Under nodes, we also have the ability to show your groups, discharge, elevations, pressures, and water quality. So if we choose water quality, for instance, and we do a color ramp here as well, that's not so great. I'm going to edit the symbol size just for a moment so we can have a larger look, and we can use maybe a thicker pen to really let it stand out to see on the site where the colors. Okay, just want to remove this item. And just before we cross over to that, I'd like to go back to the pipes, take back to default, and let's make these gray so that they don't stand out as we are looking at the nodes currently. So here we're left with the dots, which help us understand what's happening with the water quality. Also, time of day is linked to this, so we need to look at different times of the day to know what's happening with the network. I see there's not much changes going on during the course of the 24 hours, but as I showed you earlier, you can click on a node look at the graph, and that graph is not just for chlorine, but also for pressure, head, discharge, and as we previously spoke about, the chlorine. Lastly, if we look at the hydrants, we can put the color scheme for the hydrants. This can be the risk categories, the actual flow, and the residual head. So we can have a color ramp on this one as well. And let's turn off the nodes. We can bring that back to normal, and we can just make it gray for now. Just turn that on, and there you can see your color schemes. Now this is linked to which node is being analyzed at the time. So if we go to your fire flow analysis, you'll see at depending on which node is being used, will depend on which um, how much pressure we've got, because we selected the pressure for this one. Great, I hope that was helpful, and I hope that you learned a lot in the session. Please leave your comments in the comments bar within the webinar. We would really like to hear what you'd like to see further in depth, or any other questions that you may related to other items in the water module. We look forward to hearing from you. Please have a great day further. Back to you, Charles.
Thank you, Chris. That was great. And thank you to all who attended today. We had a very nice, large audience. Please remember to renew your work from home licenses and follow Civil Designer on the Civil Designer page on LinkedIn. See you all tomorrow at the same time, same place, using the same link for our first Design Center class. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon and goodbye.